Filming of the 4th season of Stranger Things took way longer than we all expected. What were the stars of the show doing during such an unholy gap between seasons? Let's find out how Finn Wolfhard managed to tame his crazy energy during the lockdown, learn which cast member had to go undercover to get a job, and discover how many totally different projects Millie Bobby Brown is currently juggling.
And I'm going through everything every other normal person, is going through in life.
Let's go. The Great Pause. 19-year-old Finn Wolfhard is arguably the busiest member of the Stranger Things cast. Despite the pandemic, in the past 2 years, he has appeared in more than a dozen different projects. That includes the horror film The Turning and a sequel of the 1980s classic Ghostbusters Afterlife. Finn describes himself as a crazy workaholic. He revealed that he has so much energy that he often feels he has to start doing something, even when he is already doing something. However, lockdown forced Wolfhard to embrace the enforced quiet. Surprisingly, even for Finn, it served him well. "I've had to learn how to be bored," shared Finn. He also elaborated that his therapist gave the period a name, the Great Pause, which should be used to truly connect with his true self. And the Canadian actor devoted his extra time to his other interests. Wolfhard is not only an actor, he's a screenwriter and a short film director. He's already written and directed a short film called Night Shifts and is working on his first feature-length film. But that's not all Finn keeps himself busy with. Last November, his band, the Aubreys, released their debut album, Karaoke Alone.
It's me and my friend Malcolm, and we met when we were like 9 years old. And
when you were 9?
Yeah, and we were playing music ever since, and then we recorded this album, and we're going to self-release it,
So what does Finn love more, music or movies? It turns out he cares about them equally, and it's hard to say no to either of them. And he's not the only member of Stranger Things who has different interests. Ahead for business. Noah Schnapp recently revealed that he and Millie Bobby Brown were both in tears. They are close friends in real life, and when Noah learned that their show would end after season 5, he immediately reached out to Brown.
And I texted Millie, my castmate who plays 11, and she was like, "You're crying too? Like, so am I."
Thankfully, the Hawkins gang will have one more season together. But tears aren't the only thing these two share. Both are entrepreneurs at heart. Stay tuned to hear about Millie's business pursuits. As for Noah, he's about to hone his business-minded brain at uni.
I'm majoring in business and entrepreneurship.
The 17-year-old performer explained that he'd love to explore the acting industry from a business perspective. Moreover, he's already launched a product, an environmentally friendly alternative to a popular chocolate spread.
I love Nutella, but it's bad for you, so I made it healthy.
Schnapp says he was involved in designing the jar his product comes in, taste testing the spread, and marketing it. He also hopes to launch his own shoe brand later, but that doesn't mean he's thinking of quitting acting. In 2020, Noah appeared in 2 movies, a mystery comedy, Hubie Halloween, and the historical war drama, Waiting for Anya. And right now, he's filming a mystery thriller, The Tutor. Still, not all the Stranger Things cast members have been as busy as Noah and Finn. We'll get to them in a moment. But first, let's have a look at what the relatively older cast members were doing during the longer-than-usual hiatus. When Joe Keery got the role on Stranger Things, he assumed that his character would soon be written off. "I figured I was going to get killed because I played the douchey sort of boyfriend, which is the first guy to die," he explained. To his astonishment, that didn't happen, and the reason for that is Joe himself. He managed to bring a thoughtfulness to the character of Steve that made him pretty much indispensable to the plot. After his success on the show, Keery appeared in a mockumentary, Death to 2020, as well as Death to 2021. But it was his next project that became his biggest achievement so far. He co-starred alongside Ryan Reynolds and Jodie Comer in an action comedy movie, Free Guy. His fellow actor Charlie Heaton won our hearts as awkward outsider Jonathan Byers. His on-screen reputation soon preceded him, so his next role after Stranger Things was Cannonball in the superhero horror The New Mutants. Charlie wasn't surprised by the similarities between the two characters. "It's having people trust that you can do other things or proving it to them," he shared. However, Heaton also wanted to do something a little less supernatural, and soon he got not one, but 2 opportunities. Last year, he appeared in 2 drama films, No Future and The Souvenir Part 2. As for his on- and off-screen girlfriend, Natalia Dyer, she currently has 2 projects in the works, a horror thriller, All Fun and Games, and a drama film, Chestnut. Also, you might have spotted her in the Netflix horror called Things Heard and Seen. Now, as promised, let's return to our younger stars. Working undercover. 19-year-old Gaten Matarazzo got himself a job during the pandemic, and it had nothing to do with acting. Surprisingly, he became a food runner at a restaurant. Gaten explained that both his siblings, as well as a few cousins and friends, worked in a New Jersey place where they opened for outdoor seating over the summer, so he just joined them. Gaten did all he could to hide his identity. He wore the restaurant's shirt and hat, and tucked all his hair into it, and also had a mask that covered his face. He even tried to change his voice. But nothing helped. Not surprising, as he is one of the most recognizable young actors in the world.
People would just look at me for a second, squint like that, and be like, Are you Gaten Matarazzo?
Apart from his summer job, he hosted the second season of the show Prank Encounters, and has recently been cast as one of the leads in the upcoming movie Honor Society. Gaten's co-star Caleb McLaughlin also spent a lot of time with his family during the pandemic. For him, it was a time to think about his future and how he could make himself better. The future superhero. 20-year-old Caleb shared that lockdown forced him to have many self-reflecting moments, pondering on what he would love to do next.
Brain explosion.
And he decided to work on his music. McLaughlin couldn't get into his studio at the time, so he ordered a whole setup of music equipment to his home. Last fall, he released his first single titled Neighborhood and a music video for it. And of course, he's been looking for new interesting projects, something that appeals to him. I'm not in a rush, but I'm definitely looking for what's next for me and what makes sense, revealed Caleb. So far, he seems to have chosen wisely. In 2020, he starred in the movie Concrete Cowboy alongside Idris Elba. Caleb explained that he chose that script because it lit a spark in him, as it was a perfect opportunity to do something completely different from Stranger Things. I needed people to see that I have range, he shared, and this was the story for me. As for his future plans, McLaughlin is ready to do anything that speaks to him. Still, most of all, he'd love to play a superhero, like Miles Morales or Static Shock. However, his next project is going to be a horror film titled Demon House. By the way, his on-screen girlfriend also shared in not just one, but a trilogy of horror films. We'll get to Sadie Sink in a moment. But first, some info about Lucas's little sister. The Scene Stealer. Erica, portrayed by Pria Ferguson, became the unexpected star of the show and a true fan fave. Thankfully, she's back in season 4 too. The 15-year-old actress didn't reveal much about how her character will be involved in the storyline. However, she confirmed that Erica has definitely evolved from season 2 and proven to be a leader. So, fans might expect to see her play a significant role in solving new mysteries. Unfortunately, Pria didn't act as much as her co-stars during the Stranger Things hiatus, but we'll get to see her in this year's new Netflix Halloween comedy, Boo! Now, let's move on to Sadie. The right things come when needed. This red-haired 20-year-old has built an enviable resume, even for actors twice her age and who have been in the entertainment industry for much longer. That can be said about many of the Hawkins gang, though, and Sink knows it like nobody else. One thing I love about all the kids on Stranger Things is that we are all self-driven actors, she revealed. We were all able to find success in this industry because of our passion and drive. In one interview, Sadie shared that she is not looking for any specific projects, but rather trusts that the right ones will come to her when she's ready. And one of them was last year's trilogy, Fear Street.
I mean, it's interesting because personally, I'm not really drawn to horror material.
But it turned out that these movies were actually really fun to film. I was all bloody. I was laying in the grass. It was like 3 a.m., recalled Sadie. I feel gross and disgusting, but I am having the best time ever. Still, for her next projects, she chose dramas, Dear Zoe and The Whale, both of which are currently in post-production. And now, it's finally time to have a look at what the major star of Stranger Things has been doing in between seasons. Perfect in everything. Since her rise to fame in 2016, Millie Bobby Brown has definitely made an illustrious career for herself. The British star appeared in 2 big-screen movies, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and Godzilla vs. Kong, as well as the Netflix hit Enola Holmes. She will play the clever and adventurous younger sister of Sherlock Holmes again this year, and is currently filming a fantasy drama, Damsel. Impressively, the 18-year-old is also producing both of these projects. On top of that, Millie has made her directorial debut with a short film. And if that wasn't enough, she's also an entrepreneur who found her own skincare and beauty brand. How does she juggle all these projects?
I love my life. I love what I get to do. And this is, something that I've dreamed of doing my whole life. But it's overwhelming at times, for sure.
Surprisingly, the biggest challenge Brown faced was the unwanted attention. She has been criticized a lot during her years in the limelight, especially since we've seen her change from a young girl in the first season of Stranger Things into a young adult.
I wear high heels or I wear, an outfit to an award show and they're like, oh, she looks 50. No, it's because you've watched me since I was 10.
Still, Millie has never let anything hold her back, and pretty soon, we'll see her in new shows and films that will definitely reflect her growth and experiences. We at OSSA are ready to see this amazing young lady in any role, both in life and on screen. But most of all, in the upcoming Stranger Things season. Thanks for watching this video, and check out our channel for other news about your favorite shows. And stay awesome!